I saw a baby drive a truck. I saw a junkie eat a tuba. I saw a drinker. I saw a stripper kiss a duck behind a dumpster in Aruba. I saw this fat psychotic guy. His underwear was made of crickets. He pawned a skeleton to buy some old expired lotto tickets. I saw a naked vagrant giving mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. No, wait, it's... I saw a naked vagrant giving mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to his cat. I probably could have gone my whole life without seeing that. With my own eyes, I see things that drive a normal man insane. Wish I could disconnect my brain from my own eyes. Alright, let's check the old audio. Kneale, 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 Kneale. There we go. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the jury. As promised, I took a short break from Tower Rangers, but we are back. Back again. Kneale is back to defend. With that, let's just get straight into it, jury. Because none of that today. I want to figure out what's going on. I haven't been able to predict fully what's going on with this case yet. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with a bust. But this case has really, been secretive to me, so I'm ready for the answers. With that, let's just get right into it. I'm pretty sure this is the final trial. Here we go. December 30th, 9:44 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby, number 5. Good morning, Max. Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usually sparkly self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Tee-hee. Oh, wait. Is this Pearl? Tee-hee. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina? Wasn't expecting her. How fabulous. My sweetie pie princess. You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Mo said that? Oh, maybe Mo's in on it. So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end. It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on or even where she is. Bitch, you in a courtroom. Get ready for the law. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You are the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Top of the morning. Sorry, my Jacksepticeye was showing. Top of the morning to ya. Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? I guess I should be asking Francesca that. Oh, that wasn't a sex joke. Well, I guess it is now, but it wasn't when I made it. I was saying she's scummy and low. And that this is not a continuation of the sex joke. Mortis, come here. You make me pure. Come here, you little hoodlum. Let me hold you. Mo? Top of the morning to you, governor. Top of the morning.
That's the ticket. Attacking the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm.
The early bird gets the bird.
But then again, worms lack higher brain function. Oh, here, Max. I brought you a present. Have some...
More milk? Oh, my, thanks. Wait, are they aware that he's a country bumpkin and that's what the joke is? Like, they're teasing him?
So, how are you today, Wright?
Well, I've got a feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real culprit.
You mean Acro?
Huh? You think he did it?
Careful. He used to put his life on the line, literally. He's got guts to spare.
If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can the other witnesses. Alright, well, I think that's it. What are you going to do then, Nick? I don't know. What the fuck are we gonna do? Do we have to... Are we gonna do Cyclops in the middle of the frickin' courtroom? I don't think that... I don't know... Are they literally removing the, like, game mechanic of pressing? Maybe Nick will answer. I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. What are we going to do? I'm stumped. This case has been super interesting from the beginning, and it still is. But now I'm just unbelievably worried. What is our health? I mean, I guess I could check when we're actually in the courtroom. In fact, we should just keep going. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get Acro to tell the truth. Okay. So, hopefully that means we have enough evidence. Okay. We'll be playing against Francesca. Jeez, this is... I know I'm, like, not doing much, but I'm just trying to think this through. This feels like this might be our biggest challenge yet. Like, just... what... Okay. No more stalling. No more stalling. Phew. You're right. But, it's gonna be tough. That was Maya, right? Okay.
Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then, she'll finally have to deal with reality of what happened to her father.
Oh, shit. We're doing that, aren't we? Okay, well... let's go for it. You want us to make sure Regina watches?
Yes. That's why I brought her to court today.
What's that supposed to mean?
She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. They become old-fashioned clowns. But I don't believe in people becoming
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold the ticket. Is it possible that Russell Berry, age 52, didn't actually die? If you recall, there was a mustache in his room. So what if Mo died? Lawrence Curls. And it drove Russell insane a little bit. And Russell put on his one of his costumes and is actually Mo the Clown.
What if Russell didn't die at all? I know I might sound like a lunatic here, but that is such a Phoenix Wright thing to do. Let's see, maybe I'm right. December 30th, 10 o'clock a.m. District Courtroom, number 2. Whew. I'm ready, babies. Let's go. Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von... Very well, I unintentionally did an Edgeworth there, but don't worry, Your Honor. I will get back to your voice. Very well. Miss Von Karma, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? We have discovered a new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime. Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up. It's this goddamn courtroom. We had a parrot as a frickin' testimony. We had Yogi Bear as a serial killer. I'm pretty sure that same evil Stan Lee woman is coming back in different forms. Jesus Christ, I'm old. Whatever, I had a feeling this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders. Poor Gumshoe. Very well. Please call your witness to the stand. Or call them to the sit. I don't give a shit which. Time to get to work. Or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. That sounds like the Cell Block Tango's, like, awkward cousin. Name and occupation? Everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the very big circus. Where were you the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the scene of the crime. My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed? Okay. Okay. What I witnessed. It was just after 10 p.m. I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise. From outside the window, I thought it was 2 kids fucking, but it wasn't 2 kids fucking. It was just some random people outside. And by kids, since I am at the crisp age of 26, I believe kids are anybody at the age of 20. Wasn't trying to be creepy, Your Honor. The word kid can mean a lot of things. For me, it specifically means people younger than myself. For example, let's say I was a 20-year-old man. And let's say my name was Neil Burris. Neil Burris's definition of kid would be anyone younger than himself. So yes, someone at the age of 20 is technically a kid in Neil Burris's eyes. I hope I've justified my weird statement, Your Honor. Then a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. The witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there's very little the prosecution need to do add. All that left is to explain the defendant disappeared into the sky that night. Oh, wait. Before we go that far, I would like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timings of these things, Mr. Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did. Oh, shit, she knows that strikes a nerve with us. Shit. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? In the words of Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well. You may proceed with your cross-examination. Alright. What are these birds? What's the story behind them? What I witnessed. It was just after 10 p.m. and I was resting in my bed. Okay, I'm gonna press one of these statements to see if I can actually press. And we'll press this one about Max. And if it takes away my life, I'll just reload. Yeah, okay. So... press. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human being flying by your window? The safety lights lit things up near me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any of the symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that person was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get. Oh, okay, so we can press him, but it's not gonna do anything. I didn't lose health, so I think we're okay. But maybe was something fishy in his last... Oh. This is probably where we... Okay, let's try... Okay, let's save here. And if I lose health, I can reload this. There is a contradiction. There's a huge contradiction with that testimony that was just given.
Objection!
If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? Well, he mentioned the hat. It was found at the crime scene. Wait, okay, it's gotta be the hat, because if that was found at the crime scene, Acro shouldn't have been able to see it when he was flying away. Yeah.
Yeah. Take that! I thought he was going to say objection. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, maybe you should have tried looking down at your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was tough enough of a challenge. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat was found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? He couldn't have seen Max fly off with the hat. Are you saying that Max has two silk hats? Actually, that would completely... If he had two, that would completely, like... I mean, who wears two hats outside? Like, that would disavow our argument, but... We're fine. No, this is a handmade one... Okay. Phoenix is justifying it. It's a handmade one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means Acro. That you've been fibbing on the stand. He's sitting on the stand, and that's super unfortunate. I'm not insulting anybody in wheelchairs. I just find it the slightest bit ironic that he is sitting on the stand. I'll shut up now. Order! Order! As always, it looks like someone just had to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth, and now I had to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this courtroom today? I think we're supposed to say Acro is the real culprit, but he's in a wheelchair. Shit, Your Honor. On this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself. Occasion, shit ass. Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Barry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor. I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab at an audience's hearts and minds. Holy fuck. That shit fuck. We're getting so many new ones. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd is, with smoke and mirrors, the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He found a third bird. He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. He's staying rather calm and collected. Mr. Dingaling, do you have any response to the defendant's accusations? I don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Everyone take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's very true. I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But I do this
but to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things.
See? Even a sliver of common sense makes it clear that the accusation is ludicrous.
She's right! Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel piece of shit, Kneale, I mean Phoenix! Phoenix is a poopy... Phoenix is a poopy head!
See that, Mr. Wright? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well. I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice.
I mean... yeah. What do you say about this, Mr. Reich? Did Acro have an accomplice?
Yeah, of course he did. Or of course he didn't.
Okay, let's think about this. Acro... If Acro had an accomplice, who would it be? I can't think of anybody. Are we gonna try to make an... Oh, I think I know what we're gonna do. Francesca's gonna have a field day with us, but I think we're gonna make an argument that Acro can stand. Like, that Acro has full control over his legs. Or maybe that he was the one flying using the wires. I don't... I think she wants us to do that, and because of that... I don't want... I don't know. Once again, I'm going to save. I'm sorry if this is annoying, but this thing has me so, like, into it. I want to see what happens if we say, of course, he didn't. Because that's the more interesting path. That's the one I hope is real. And because of that, I want to pick it. I'm picking it. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice. Not this time, Von Karma. What? You're not gonna sucker me into this one. I saw through her. Or I'm about to fuck myself over. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Order? What the fuck, man? What are you getting at? Way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. Oh yeah, we're fucked. I have no idea what we do now, but let's shoot. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do it? I know what I can't do, and I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, we lose. Alright, then let's do it. Mortis, what the fuck are you doing at that fishbowl? Mortis, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here! You're a jerk. He's just barely out of reach. Come here. Come where I can reach you.
Fine. Mr. Phoenix Wright, if this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right? Come here, you stupid little cat. Get away from the fishbowl. I love you. He's biting me. But I do love him. He's my little boy. He got out today, and I was so scared, but I got him back because he loves me and came to my call.
Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me.
Or just get away from the fishbowl.
When the crime scene was committed, where exactly do you think Mr. Dingaling was? I think that's what that said.
Well, in his room? Or here? You know what? I'll try to perfectly click in between the two.
Take that!
He was obviously here the entire time.
That's Acro's room.
There we go, that worked. Pretty simple, hey? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. Mortis, what are you doing? In that case, there can only be one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. Oh my god. I just figured it out. I was right. It's the bust. He used the bust as the murder weapon. He died of blunt trauma. Acro dropped the bust on his head. Then he hoisted it back up with wires. Acro killed him with the bust. Alright, Phoenix. Now I'm with you. What? Are you nuts?
What you say? What say you, Mr. Dingaling? Well, shit, you caught me. It's an interesting theory. Shit.
That's it?
Considering what you proposed is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there is no way he could go to the scene of the crime or be the killer.
You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the crime scene. That's true. It's the bust, you fools! Most said that he saw Max, didn't he? It's the bust.
And that guy looked like a dead Dr. Eggman.
But, Maya, it's still possible for humans to fly. Impossible for humans to fly.
Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright?
What is it?
I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume.
How did he do it? Let me present. He used the bust. He used the bust. That's the next course of this legal buffet. Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here... She's right. I can't mess up here. I've got to give this one serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster. And he did it while he was in his room, no doubt about it.
Time to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingaling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. Present evidence. I'm going to present some evidence. So what did Mr. Dingaling use to commit the crime?
Where's the bust? 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 Oh, shit. Oh, wait, it's right here. Here we go, baby!
Take that!
What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the bust. It's quite a large bust, and that's because it's life-sized. It is also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Apologies. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Shit. See? This is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. I don't know why, I almost thought he said supple. Order, order. So you're saying the bust fell onto the Ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit.
Objection!
How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible.
Objection!
Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough body strength to carry something like a bust. Mr. Dingaling, how do you respond to these charges? Well, Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows I'm getting close to the truth. Well, 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 Acro. You can't run. Ah! I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? Von Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time.
Objection!
There's absolutely no need for such testimony. The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way for once? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. Okay. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. Arg, that woman will sink to any low to win a case. Acro's physical state, babies. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. Just before I forget. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think?
He wouldn't have known the area of the ringmaster's head. Well, I don't know where to go with that. I have no doubt in regards to this witness's testimony.
It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
That was what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? Shit. I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination.
He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really.
Grr. I can't let her get to me. I've got to focus. Alright, well, we gotta be careful about what we press. We've learned that. So let's go to the last statement. Because I always like to go to the last statements. Let's start there. Alright. Thus it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him. Okay, well... that makes it impossible for me to... Okay, let's press this. Yeah, let's press this. Why do you say it would have been impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out below the window. Thus, there is no way I... Whoa. I just looked at that bird, looked at me, and I was scared for a minute. It was like, give it a minute. Hi, Neil. I'm gonna eat you. I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point.
Hey, Nick.
Huh?
What if you turned things around? Maybe if you think of it sort of like this.
What?
If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could drop the bust.
Okay, what does that make? That does make sense, but how would he know? If only I could prove somehow. Prove it how? What do we have? Okay. The map of the circus, maybe? Victim was hunched over it. It's really heavy. It boasts a small but strong lock. Bronze statue taken from the... Heh. Shit. I think I've already explained things sufficiently. Okay, so we have to present evidence to that? Well, let's present some evidence here. If all you had to do was drop it, then it wouldn't have been a problem at all. If all I had to do was drop it, you're right, I could have done that. However, there is no way I could have landed a direct hit on the ringmaster's head. So that kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, doesn't it, Mr. Wright? Acro is strong enough to lift up the bust.
The main problem is how he could have aimed for the ringmaster's head.
I wonder if he used some kind of tool for aiming at the ringmaster.
That's the ticket, Nick. Show them what you've got.
Okay, so I need to present evidence to the fifth thing, but what is it?
If this is anything to go by, the way to go is the 5th one. Yeah. Yeah. So... Okay. But what evidence? I mean... Just look at this. Wait. Hold on. Where's the autopsy report? Do we have an autopsy report? We don't have an autopsy report for this one. Huh. The victim was hunched over it. Maybe he was trying to pick it up? Maybe he was trying to pick up the box. Maybe Acro put something heavy in the box and... It's the only thing I can think... Okay, let's press a little more. Let's see if we get anything out of the 4th statement.
Hold it!
How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember that my nerves were severely damaged. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation. But it's going to take a while before I'm back to 100%. Let me remind you of another very important point. If the witness was carrying the bust, he would not be able to see out below the window. Yeah, that did nothing for me. They gave me so many hints that it has to be this. I'm going for it. Objection! Acro. You didn't really need to lean out of the window, did ya? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Okay, we're on the right track. Quite precisely, I may add, because he left the box out there for the dude to pick up. Your silly hitting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show some evidence? But I did such a good job at hinting. Yes, hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. A dead Dr. Robotnik. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. This makes sense. There was nothing important in the box. The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box had already been at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean... If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. No! Order! This is unbelievable! This is really cool. Finally, some of these lose themselves up. Now I just gotta keep it going, and there's only one way to go from here. Forward. So next question is... The next question I have is...
Who placed that wooden box at the crime scene? It was Mr. Dingaling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Allow me to whip some sense into you. Ow! Mr. Phoenix Wright! Ow! 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 The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when the box was lifted. That's why the box was so specifically made. Specifically made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar feature. The weight of the box, the contents of its box. I mean, it's got to be the weight. The box has a remarkable weight. So much that there was just salt inside of it, and it was still heavy. Wait. According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. It would have had... One would have to squat down and lift up with their body, wouldn't they? That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is very large. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That's correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Well, you're very calm. Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you had to say. Shit, fuck. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza? Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done that, what he's proposing. What? Mr. Wright, did you recall the original location of Max's bust? Sure, I remember. Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. Yeah, I remembered that. Then what happened to it? I'd like you to remember the one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. That means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room? You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Explain that! Oh, Von Karma, you're relying on the witness. You've run out of ideas. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bust from the cafeteria. Yup, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove things happen once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to his room? Well, how do you get the... Oh, Russell did have an autopsy report. I just didn't see it. Oh,
Wait. Could the monkey have lifted it? Does it have shiny things? Yeah, those are shiny. I think money? Could... I can't... We said there was no accomplice, so unless we say it was the goddamn monkey, I mean... Yeah, fuck it. I already saved. A monkey! Everyone knows money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist ring. So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then brought it back home. Shit, fuck. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room?
Objection!
But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't shiny at all. The cards are shiny. I checked that too. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. My, those are very nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny, bitch. Acro. It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room. Able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Order, I said. Where is the bust in question at this moment? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then? Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon. Wait! Now that you mention this bust was the murder weapon purely by accident. It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Shit. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! Dude, I am so into this. Mr. Wright's argument was so circular. I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow! Don't seem so flamboozled. Especially... Flamboozled? I thought it was bamboozled. Especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Motive. And what is that? You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. Ah! There's no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. Actually, there's a lot of reason. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick, don't let it beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Barry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this, and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw? the bust.
Take that!
He saw Max's... Bah! I asked you who was the other person saw on the scene. That evidence was nothing to do with this question.
Objection!
Shut up. Au contraire, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with this question. Shit. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he didn't actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. They were trying to trick me. They wanted me to pick like a human. How is that possible? It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
Objection!
What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette Saul was wearing a cloak.
Objection!
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would be easy to hang off one of the cards in the bust's head. Idiot! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust? It does matter who put it on the bust. It doesn't matter who put it on the bust. Just a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of utmost importance to this case, don't you agree? He caught me. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? Regina? Maybe? It could have been Acro to accuse... I'm perplexed. Well... Maybe it was Regina. Maybe she put it on before Money stole it. I don't know. Let's try Acro.
Take that!
I wonder, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Didn't the defendant wear his cloak the entire time he was at the practice? So then how did this person get a hold of the cloak? Well... Oh, well, Francesca just gave us the answer. It was Russell Barry. Furthermore, how would this person have gotten the cloak onto the bust, I wonder? Because this person was not spotted at the scene. I'm sorry. When she's so nice about telling me I'm wrong, it hurts even more. Ow! The famous Von Karma carrot and whip approach. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. It was Russell himself. Russell had to do it, because he was the only one who could have gotten frickin' Max's coat. It had to be Russell. I don't know how it was Russell, but it had to be. Fool! Him! You gave me the answer, Francesca. Are you saying it was the victim himself? Russell Barry? That's what I'm saying. I mean, the victim himself placed the cloak on the bust. Placed the cloak on the bust isn't really the right way of putting it. Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself. Nick, do you really have a handle on all this? Yeah, I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright. So, you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then, he attached the rope to the bust, and dangled the bust out of his bedroom window, directly above the window box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room, and he went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than the ventriloquist and his puppet Ben Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. Why was he going this way anyways? And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bust hit the victim, it got caught on the cards. You wait just a second there, Mr. Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. What? That's why you couldn't see the roses. The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound of a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Mo Curls, the clown. Oh, I get it. Larry Mo Curly. He's all the Three Stooges. When Mo looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Wait, so he got away with this by accident? Dude, lucky. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Mo saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of his window. So, he just kept pulling up the bust. And that is how the magical murder disappearing into the sky came to be. Shit! Dick! See? So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Mortis is looking at me talk to myself and he thinks I'm nuts. Acro, it could have only been you. Shit. Acro's been playing mind games with all of us. He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? Shit. Evidence. In this courtroom, only two things matter. The power of evidence. Okay, well, Don't forget, the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want evidence. I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. But there's still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account. The flowers. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay, then. Let's use that, and let's get out of this jam. Okay, I have to show that picture we have of, frickin' Max. Present your evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the case to this magic trick. Here.
Take that!
It's this. The problem is Max's 3 symbols, yup. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday there were 2 contradictions in Mo's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were another. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions. You fool! Do you ever shut up? Max's silk hat was found at the crime scene. However, remember that what Mo said yesterday. He testified that the criminal was fleeing the scene wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust's. Makes sense if you look at it that way. Then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of.
Objection!
Fine, you've got one. But what about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? You couldn't see the roses because of how the cape landed. That's the one I figured out. I didn't even think of the hat. Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that the witness had white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? I already did. Of course, I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the instant that the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the roses? You couldn't see them. They were still there, but you couldn't see them. Do you get it yet? If the cloak snagged onto the bust from the front, it means the white roses would end up on the back of the bust. Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bust. My word, this case was convoluted, but damn. It's still weird that it was all an accident, though. Order, order! Are we done? Shit. This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. I'm gonna drink some lemonade so I don't die. I spilled it all over my lip. Ah, Jesus. Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. Shit. Shit. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research the circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. I knew this was gonna come up. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. He was wearing the costume. Maybe he thought the ringmaster was Max. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Shit, fuck. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would try to kill the ringmaster. I mean... she's not wrong. Oh. Hello, Lucian Webb. You don't have face cam, so you can drop your lemonade. I mean, yeah, you're right. I could just pour the lemonade all over myself and you would be none the wiser, and I would still look just as sexy in your brain. Your Honor, I'd like to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. He was trying to kill Max. Acro's motive. It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel like this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's... Mr. Dingling's testimony after we play on the playground at some sweet, sweet recess, bro. Shit. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. AKA, I'm gonna take a 10-minute shit. What if that's literally all recess is for the judge? Let's keep going. Let's finish. Let's finish this case. It's only 1 o'clock in the morning for me. I don't feel that tired. Let's just finish it. I feel like there's not much left to do. I feel like we've already proven everything we had to prove. I feel like I'm ahead in knowing the motive. So I think we're good. December 30th, 2:17 p.m. District Courtroom, Defendant Lobby, number 5. I can't believe it, Acro! It's pretty shocking, isn't it? It definitely is, and to think he was always the most straightforward of the group. Jeebus, am I that hated? Him? Acro tried to pin the murder on you on purpose. He did? Psst, psst. But I'm nothing but a little old nobody, you know? But you're not, which is kind of the reason why... Cough, cough, hey, pal! Aw, shit. Time to do Gumshoe's voice. You're gonna ignore me? You're gonna ignore me after I've been waiting all this trouble? Went through all this trouble to bring you some evidence? Detective Gumshoe. Forget it. I'm going home. This guy deserves to be guilty anyways. Now, detective, I'm sorry. Look, why don't you relax a little? We've got some really tasty milk. How about a card trick, detective? Aw, shit. Oh, well, if you insist. Now, about that evidence you mentioned, what is it? Here you go. Huh? This was yesterday in Acro's room. Yup. And I've included the forensic results. Take a look at it later. Miss Von Karma's gonna be mad that you're doing this. Shit. That's why this is all a secret. Huh? Look, details are on a need-to-know basis, and we're not really allies or anything.
But everything that's happened in this court up until now has gone according to our plan.
I don't know. Miss Von Karma didn't seem in control of things just now.
You'll figure it out eventually, pal.
Our plan. Is Gumshoe working with Edgeworth?
Yesterday, our final plans were set into motion.
Final plans?
Uh-huh. That reminds me. I've got a message from the prosecutor for you.
Nothing is ever truly decided until the very end.
That's it. And that's it for me too, pal. I'm out of here.
He's working with Edgeworth. What did he mean by that? The very end part? I'm not sure. It was all pretty cryptic to me. He said prosecutor. He said nothing about Francesca.
Oh, one more thing.
Ah! Don't scare me like that.
It looks like there's a large care package from the circus to the defendant, for the defendant.
What? For me?
It's milk.
Why the fuck is everyone giving him milk? Are they aware that he's country?
The reception area looks like some kind of dairy. Looks like some kind of dairy. So hurry up and drink it all before it spoils.
An entire dairy's worth of milk for me? How the fuck do you keep giving us milk? December 30th, 2:27 p.m. District Courtroom number 2. Court is now back in session. Miss Von Karma, please continue where you left off. I'd like to continue with Acro's testimony. Oh, I have a new follower. Thanks, Donna Jogos. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I'd like to continue with Acro's testimony. Starting with his relationship with the victim. Oh, well. I'd also like to get proof from the defense. Oh, thank you, Lucian Webb. Proof of what kind of motive Acro would have to commit this crime.
Understood. Now, Mr. Dingling.
Yes, Your Honor?
Please proceed with your testimony.
Finally, get to the motive. Wait, Nick, are you okay? Just do me a favor. Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. Ah, shit. About the ringmaster. Okay,
When we were little, we were abandoned by our parents. That's when the ringmaster of the Berry Big Circus, Russell Berry, took us in. I became an acrobat at around 9 years old. I wanted to find a way to repay the ringmaster. That was my sole purpose in life. You're such a thoughtful young man.
As you heard, the witness deeply respected the victim. I wonder how anyone could think that Acro would kill the man he held in such high esteem.
You are absolutely right. How could anyone think that, Mr. Wright? Which is why there's no reason or need for cross-examination, is there?
Actually, that's the question I'm trying to answer myself. Why would Acro kill the ringmaster? This might be my last chance to answer that question. Okay, of course I'll cross-examine. The defense has a right to cross-examine the witness. You're so tactless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You don't care about justice, do you? You just want to fabricate a motive. Thank you for your subscription. I love you. Very well. Mr. Phoenix Wright. Oh, I didn't read the rest. Very well, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And that's it? About the ringmaster. Okay. Press. We? He's talking about that. Yes, my brother Sean and I. What? You have a brother? How old were you when this happened, Acro? I was 8, and my brother was 4. Your parents were very cruel, weren't they? Your parents were very... Fuck. Your parents were very cruel, weren't they? Nowadays, we aren't bitter, but what happened to us... About what happened to us, because it allowed us to meet the wonderful people at the very big circus. Shitfuck. Nick, the judge is getting misty-eyed. Well, that is kind of emotional. He's got a soft spot for sob stories, it looks like. Oh! Oh! No crying in the courtroom. Let's keep going. Witness, you may proceed with his testimony. That's when the ringmaster, Very Big Circus, Russell Berry took us in. Okay. Let's press this, because he's talking about Russell. How would you describe your relationship with the ringmaster? He was like an uncle, a father, and a big brother all wrapped up into one. The ringmaster and my brother were the only family I had. What about the other people at the circus? This was over 15 years ago. Back then, there were very few customers coming in. So, now, no one really had the time to look after us. They were worried about other things. But the ringmaster, he would always come see us with a laugh and a smile. What a beautiful story. That's why I was always thinking of what I could do to help. I wanted to thank him. Nick, isn't Acro such a wonderful person? I know. He seems like a nice guy, which is what makes this so difficult. So then, how long have you been a performer? I became an acrobat and around 9 years old, okay. You started off as an acrobat at that early of an age? I begged the ringmaster until he finally agreed to let me do it. Ever since then, I've been in incredible physical shape. That's also when I decided to form a group with my brother. We called ourselves the Flying Dinglingberries. It's nearly a household name. I've even heard of them in Germany. Liar. At this point, I wanted to be of some use to the circus. You're truly a remarkable young man. The judge keeps looking at Acro almost like a proud father. Oh, well, this appears to be the last one. Did you ever have any trouble with the ringmaster? Ow! How could you ask such a question, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Do you have some sort of fundamental misunderstanding of this witness's testimony? Or the heartfelt emotions contained within? You better think about this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You better think hard. Ow! Ow!
No matter how you look at it, there's no way I could see the witness ever taking the victim's life.
Ow! Who got whipped? Exactly. I've been waiting for you to say that, Your Honor. Nick, I hate to say it, but I agree with them. I was trying to trace down the truth, but I ended up just looking like a jerk.
I think that will be enough for now. Pondering whether or not this man would kill the ringmaster leads me to believe that it is pretty unlikely.
Exactly right, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, I'd like to ask you a question.
Go ahead, Your Honor.
I would like to know, can you provide an explanation as to why Acro would want the ringmaster dead?
Okay. Well, okay, so with that, the whole thing was pointless, so that was our first lesson. We just did a whole testimony thing where it was pointless. So let's say no. I mean, let's not be stupid. Let's save and be sure that we're careful here. But let's say no. I can't provide one. Shit. Nick? Yeah, I didn't even have to think about it. It was obvious from the start. Your Honor, the reason that Acro killed the ringmaster is something that can't be proven. What else? That's because Acro had no reason to kill the ringmaster at all. Ow! Your foolish attempts to fool us like foolish fools is so full-heartedly foolish. Did you forget you made an accusation against this witness? Did you not? I believe it was.
This is the real killer of Russell Berry, ringmaster.
If you want to jump to the end of things, then yes, that sounds about right. That's my health bar, Lucian Webb. If that goes down, I lose the trial.
The end of things?
Acro. It's Regina and the note. Okay, yeah, I remember. You didn't plan to kill the ringmaster at all, did ya? He was going after Regina, that's why the note's a thing. The ringmaster wasn't your target that night. What did you just say? I'm saying that the target of this witness's murderous plot was not the ringmaster. Because it was never his intention to kill Russell Berry. Oh my god, this makes so much sense. That's why there was pepper in it. Bat used to always tease Regina with pepper. What?
Order, order! Bailiff, I don't care who it is. Smack anyone who's loud in the face, twice if you must. Cut off their nipples if they continue. Mr. Wright, what in the world are you trying to do to my court?
Ow! Mr. Phoenix Wright, what in the world are you trying to do with his court? Are you attempting to imply that Acro was trying to kill someone else? Yeah, Regina.
Take that!
Regina Berry?
This young girl is the ringmaster's daughter, correct?
Acro. You were really aiming for her that night, weren't you?
Shit.
Objection!
You don't need to answer that. It's a mean-spirited leading question.
Objection!
He could easily answer this question.
If I'm wrong, all he has to say is, you're wrong. That's it. That's it, huh, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Enough. Mr. Wright, allow me to... Ah! The only thing allowed to interrupt me is death itself. Oh? That's a cool line. And that goes for you too, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Show me evidence, now! I want to know why Acro would want to kill Regina Barry. Shit, fuck. Yes, me too. I demand some proof. Present evidence that proves Acro was out to kill this girl. It's the letter.
Take that!
Acro, you remember this, don't you? It's a piece of paper that we found inside the ringmaster's tailcoat. Inside the victim's tailcoat? Acro wrote this note. It's ironically entitled To the Murderer. Its purpose is to call someone to the plaza at 10 p.m. So you're saying that he called Russell Barry with that note? Yes, but there's just one little problem. Problem? Acro did indeed place this note into someone's pocket. However, that someone was not the ringmaster. You mean it wasn't for the... That's exactly what I mean. The person this note was intended for was none other than Regina Barry. So he planned a murder, but he unintentionally killed the wrong person. Order, Mr. Wright! This little theory of yours... It's the truth, Your Honor. It isn't a theory. Simply put, Regina didn't think the note was meant for her. Which is why the morning of the crime, she placed it on the cafeteria bulletin board. That's when her father, the ringmaster, saw the note. That's correct. The ringmaster ended up in the plaza instead of Regina. And he was killed because of that mistake, instead of Regina. That's incredible. Remember the testimony that Acro just gave us earlier today. Lifting that bust and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. If I were able to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. Acro had no idea who it was that arrived in the plaza, because he couldn't look down out of his window and see it was actually who it actually was. I've got it! Acro thought it was Regina down in the plaza. And that's when he let the bust fly. Hey Nick, isn't Regina listening to all of this from the audience? She is, unfortunately. It's only going to get harsher from here. I hope Regina can handle it. I find it funny that bus crushed my father's skull. Apparently it was meant for me. Not first time Regina cheats death. Acro wrote this note to Regina.
Objection!
Foolishly foolish fool, with foolishly foolish fool ideas of foolishly foolish. You're so foolish you've even made me sound like a foolhardy fool. Very well, Mr. Phoenix Wright. If you're so sure, then tell us all about this line. I have conclusive evidence of what took place. Yes? What about that line? Well, If the note was meant for Regina Barry, it would mean that this note is declaring that Regina Barry is a murderer. You just don't get it, do you? What? What did you say? The ringmaster knew what the note meant, which is why he went to the plaza in place of his lovely daughter. Did she intentionally have the lion kill him? Hold it right there, Mr. Wright. What is this incident that is alluded to in the note? The incident 6 months ago. We know all about it. An incident occurred 6 months ago. And I know I am more than ready to show this court what happened at that time. Moron. Wait, are you sure that it relates to the present case? It does indeed, Your Honor. Everything in this case has its start in what happened 6 months ago. Really, Nick? I think so. Well then, if that's the case, hurry up and tell us about it. What is this conclusive evidence mentioned in the note? I know I'd certainly like to know what it is. If I can't answer that question, the judge is going to think I'm bluffing. And, we very well might be. The conclusive evidence. You haven't forgotten what happened 6 months ago, have you? I have conclusive evidence of what took place. I'm thinking. Okay, I have a theory. And I think it's kind of harebrained. Regina didn't mean to kill him. Everybody is saying in that image, and it's one of my, it's the thumbnail of the most recent video, so I'm actually looking at the image right now. That image of the lion is smiling, but I never thought that looked like a smiling lion. I thought it looked like he was sneezing. Regina and Bat had this joke where he would always put pepper in Regina's nose and make her sneeze. I think Regina did the same thing with the lion. Or alternatively, maybe she did it with Bat while his mouth was in the friggin'... First of all, Bat's scarf stained with his blood, and a small quantity of pepper. I'm on the right track. I am on the right track. It's the pepper. It's the pepper. Because, okay, here was my mind frame. I think Regina was playing a joke on him and accidentally got him killed. Present. I'm confident. Shit. Shit. Achoo! 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 What kind of spicy joke is this, Mr. Phoenix, right? This isn't a joke at all. Oh, also, and that was found in the chest, so... yeah. It's the decisive evidence that you asked for. What do you mean? Recall that the victim was trying to take the wooden box away with him. He was doing so because this piece of decisive evidence was inside of it. Another unbelievable conclusion. Very well, Mr. Wright. So what exactly are you saying? Are you claiming Regina Barry killed someone with a small bottle of pepper? Taking the note into account,
That's the only logical conclusion you can draw, see? I figured it out. Foolish fool who never tries of his own foolish ways, tires of his own foolish ways. If you're so sure, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then answer me this question. Motive. Who was Regina Barry's intended victim?
Well, it was Bat, right? Like, it was Bat.
Take that!
Who is this?
I think we should save.
Who is this? Again. It's Acro's younger brother.
Objection!
What does this prove? His younger brother isn't dead. Technically, that's true. However, Bat has been in a coma for 6 months now. It's not a stretch to see how Acro could feel that this is his brother's death. Regina, she did that to him. Do you spend your entire life dreaming up new ways to be a fool? Naturally, the prosecution has looked into Acro's brother, Sean Dingling. 6 months ago, he was bit by a lion and fell into his current comatose state. A lion? Miss Regina Barry, is an animal tamer by trade. However, no trained animal in a position is ever trained to attack another human. He was sneezing. They wouldn't understand the command. Moreover, Miss Regina could never do something like that. It's just not in her. It was an accident. She was trying to do a joke. So then, what happened to Acro's brother? He's not a victim of attempted murder. He's the victim of an accident. I see. Now what do we do? No one seems to be going along with your theory. Do you think that what happened to Bat was actually an accident? No, it was more than that. The lion biting Bat was no accident at all. What? You're such an amateur, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yeah, that's why I beat you in the last round, motherfucker. There is no way that Regina would ever incite her lion to attack another human being. She may not have incited the lion to attack another human being, but Regina is responsible for making the lion bite Acro.
Acro's scarf, right? I mean... yeah. Acro's scarf is all I can think of. There's pepper on it.
That's just a scarf.
Acro. Or not Acro's scarf. Bad. I don't know who. Might be Acro.
Shit. This scarf is something that Bat used to wear, correct? That's right. And who is the one that gave this scarf to Bat? Regina. Regina gave it to him. Regina? Regina? There's something more than just blood on this scarf, Your Honor. And what might that be? Pepper. Pepper? Pepper. Regina gave this scarf to Bat right before the accident. And she covered it with so much pepper as she could. Shit. 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 Dick! Good night, Lucy and Webb. Oh wait, you're Lucina Webb. Goodbye, Lucina Webb. Hey, what's with the silent treatment? Excuse me, Mr. Wright. You've done a good job of fingering a criminal. But out of curiosity, what was her crime? Miss Barry gave a pepper-covered scarf to Bat as a present. Where's the crime in that?
It still seems like the judge just doesn't get it. But Francesca does. Shit. Mr. Phoenix Wright, wasn't it said that the lion seemed to be smiling?
Fuck. Smiling? The lion was smiling?
Yeah, I didn't think it was smiling. I thought it was sneezing. Right before Bet was bit by the lion. For a moment, the lion's mouth changed and it looked like it was smiling.
Lions smile?
I've never heard of them smiling, however.
Lions sneeze?
What? Leon wasn't trying to bite Bat at all. Yeah, that's sneezing. In reality, all he actually did was sneeze. Oh, poor lion got killed for sneezing. He sneezed because of all the pepper. Oh, this is so sad.
What?
You fool! Oh, you said good move. Thanks, Lucina. You fool!
Dick, you've got to be kidding me.
Objection!
Dick!
What's the matter, Miss Von Karma?
I object. I object for objection's sake. Mr. Phoenix Wright, this theory, you believe it? You really intend to say that this is how this joke of an accident actually happened? Of course I do. It's the truth. The lion sneezed due to the pepper, and that's when Bat lost consciousness. Acro nearly lost his brother due to this accident. Or this joke, as you put it. Which is why he tried to get his revenge on Regina. You foolish idiot.
It almost does seem like a terrible joke, doesn't it? Once again, I'm impressed by your imagination, Mr. Wright.
Shit, fuck.
To think that there's someone who treats this accident with the respect it deserves.
Are you telling me that what I said was true?
Shit.
Acro, you can't mean witness.
Are you confirming the defense's claim?
Shit.
Mr. Wright, unfortunately your imagination is not enough to find me guilty of murder.
Shit. What do you mean by that?
The pepper, the scarf, the lion. I see where you're going, but it's a bit hard to swallow. Not to mention the fact that there's an even bigger problem with your theory.
What would that be?
The same problem it's always been, evidence. If I trot Max's bust onto the top of the ringmaster, where is the evidence that proves that claim?
Oh, well, shit, he's got a slight point. Let's think about this. Phew.
You mean the conclusive evidence?
The biggest problem is the murder weapon, or the lack thereof, to be more precise.
The murder weapon, the bust, that defense claims was the use. If that were to be found in Acro's room, and if it were covered in the victim's blood, that would be awfully conclusive in my eyes.
Yes, it would be.
He wouldn't leave it in there, though. The bust.
Nick, you've got to do something.
This is the last step. If I get this one right, the case is won.
Let's see how things work out.
It might be worthwhile to search Acro's room, but... Why aren't you going to search his room? It looks like you finally figured things out, didn't you? Now you truly know the meaning of uncommon total justice. I guess... I figured with you, that's the least I should expect. You'd leave no stone unturned. They already searched his room. A Von Karma never leaves anything to chance. We already searched Akram's room yesterday. I thought so.
What did you find?
There's no room to even say it. Reason to even say it. If we had found what you think we would have found, Acro would not be here as a witness. But to put a point on it, Max's bust was not in the room. The murder weapon is still unaccounted for.
You see, Mr. Wright, the bust wasn't in my room.
Furthermore, Detective Dick Gumshoe executed the search by complete surprise. And we took Acro directly to the prosecutor's office after that. End of story.
Just wait a second.
Something's funny about all this.
It looks like you lacked the final nail to put into my coffin.
But what about the scarf? What about the note?
What about them, Mr. Wright? No offense, but the only evidence that is relevant here is that which pertains to the death of the ringmaster. You should know that by now.
Arg. Do something, Nick. Don't let this case slip away. The bust. Where is it now? Where's the bust right now? You're Phoenix Wright. You know where the bust is. I'm sure you do. There's not even a single clue. How am I supposed to know where the bust is?
It seems like this case is coming to a close. Wait. The defense's counter-arguments look to have fallen short. I have theories of where the bust could be.
Thank you for your support. I have two.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I think that brings an end to the cross-examination.
Oh, did I lose? Hold it! Wait, who said hold it? Regina? Oh! Where is Max's bust? It was Maya. The defense needs time to prepare to present its... lace? I mean case. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous, and I just bit my tongue.
Huh?
What? We need to do what? Ow! Why are you the most surprised person here? She's your aide, isn't she?
Do you really have a case to present, Mr. Wright?
Well, are you asking me? The rest is up to you, Nick. Good luck. Hey, wait! You can't be serious! Acrobats always have their lives on the line, don't they?
Oh my god, it's in his butt.
That's how Acro lived his life up until now. Now, it's time for us to walk across our own tightrope. If we don't, we're certain to lose.
Very well. The defense may proceed.
He doesn't have a clue, and I don't think he'll be finding one anytime soon. Walking the tightrope of logic, there is no room for a false step. Sink or swim. The only way through is forward. The murder weapon. Where is Max's bust now?
Do 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 do. So I think it might be with Money the Monkey, or... I mean, I know I made a joke about it being in his butt, but what if he has it? What if it's in his chair? Yeah, what if it's in his chair? What if it's here? It's obvious. The bust is inside this very courtroom. It's obviously where? Allow me to pinpoint the location of the bust once and for all. The judge's bench, the prosecutor's bench, the witness stand. Acro. I'm sorry to ask this, but do you mind if I take the blanket off your wheelchair? Shit. I'm sorry. I didn't quite hear you, Mr. Phoenix, right? Well, you're a big guy, and you have a pretty big wheelchair because of it. I just wanted to make sure you weren't hiding anything under that blanket. Because it seems to me that it'd be really easy to say, hide a bust under there. Once again, you're penchant for humor, Mr. Wright. I think it's pretty amazing that you can laugh in your position. However, your lightheartedness doesn't change the fact that the bust is under there. Shit. We all know that you can't leave the lodging house by yourself in your condition. That proved inconvenient when Miss Von Karma happened to search your room yesterday. If she had found the murder weapon in your room, it would have been all over. Which is why you had to hide it in the only place that you could hide it. Underneath your wheelchair. Shit. Which is why, Acro, I have to ask you again. Hi, Mortis. My kitty came over. Would you please remove the blanket from your lap? Shit. Well done, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Masterfully played. You fool! How could you? You've got me. I've been bagged by a real pro. Actually, two of them. Two of them? Miss Francesca Von Karma and Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? There's just one thing I'd like to know. How did you know to launch the surprise search on my room last night? Shit-ass. There was two pieces of decisive evidence. The cloak and the bust. I burned the cloak in my room and threw the ashes away with the trash. Regina always took my trash out every morning, you know? But the bust, obviously I couldn't throw that away. So, when you executed your search, all I could do was try and hide the bust. And the only place that I could hide it quickly was under this wheelchair. Miss Von Karma, you had things all figured out, didn't you? I was completely sucked in by your calculated strategy. And now, to be caught in the middle of the court hiding the murder weapon? There's no way I can escape that. So, you've got me. Well done, Mr. Wright. Well done, Miss Von Karma. It all makes sense now. I can't believe Von Karma thought that far ahead. It's amazing. Uh-huh. You definitely couldn't tell by looking at her. I know I sure couldn't. I know I sure couldn't. I can't believe it. Me,
make a mistake. Why did I order a surprise search of your room? If I only hadn't done that.
It seems we finally arrived at the truth. Acro.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you kill the ringmaster of the Berry Big Circus, Mr. Russell Berry?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm responsible for that crime. Acro. Shit. All my brother wanted was for Regina to like him. That's why he'd tease her. One day, my brother sprinkled some pepper on Regina. She started sneezing so hard, you couldn't help yourself from laughing. That's why Regina thought it'd be funny to get him back in the same way. And that's why she covered the scarf with pepper. I know she didn't mean for anything bad to happen. I know this. She just wanted to make my brother sneeze a few times, too. But I couldn't forgive her, no matter what. What am I truly guilty of? I'm guilty of never ever being able to understand her. Your brother became a star. Regina believes in that so purely that she would laugh innocently when saying it, too innocently. I just couldn't stand it, no matter how hard I tried. That's when you decided to do something about Regina. How dreadful.
So you're saying that you are a victim in all this as well?
No, that's not what I mean. Oh, I'm nothing but a murderer. That's who I am. At first, I thought I'd kill myself. Then I pondered giving myself up. But I couldn't just up and leave. I couldn't just... not yet. That's why I tried to pin this on Max. Max, I'm so sorry. I just couldn't up and leave yet. In case Bat woke up. God, that is kind of tear-jerking. Holy shit. Like, I don't know if that's tear-jerking for other people, but I sort of had to act that out, and, this has been such a strange case. It's almost a reflection of the circus itself. I'm an idiot. I can't believe it. You beat me again. Shit. I believe this case is now beyond any point of possible discussion. Thus, I'd like to declare my verdict. Not guilty. Look at Max all fancy. This court is adjourned. Bitches. December 30th, 4:27 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby, number 5. Fabulous. Fabulous. But to be honest, I can't really be too happy about this. Acro, the ringmaster, Regina, and Pat. Not a single one of them was a bad person inside, huh? That's a good question. and one I don't know how to answer. Many congrats, but only at max 1 million of them. Thank you. Shit. What's with the vibe in this room? We're just thinking about Acro. No. If you worry about... Max is not guilty. We got, Lucina, our client, we're a defendant, we're a lawyer. We got our client declared not guilty. But, we had to do that by proving who the actual criminal was, and that was Acro. So Max isn't guilty, but Acro is. If you worry about people too much, then you'll be like this forever and never be happy. Huh? Wah! She's been like this for a while now. Wah! It's all my fault! Wah! Sweetie pie. Bat and Acro, they're never coming back. I killed them both, even though one is alive. Now everyone's going to split up. Regina? Mr. Wright, tell me something. What do you want to know, Regina? Acro said something right at the end. I just couldn't up and leave yet. Does that mean that Acro... Is he gonna try and get revenge on me? I don't think so. He's not gonna do that to you, Regina. Are you sure? You're really sure? I can believe that. Yep. Acro doesn't have any desire for revenge anymore. If that's true, then I want to see some evidence. Huh? I want to know you're not just making stuff up about Acro not wanting revenge. He wants to stay alive. He didn't kill himself because... What if Bat wakes up?
Take that!
Acro didn't want to get caught for a reason. Gosh, this is so sad. I'm actually really emotional. He wanted to see his brother open his eyes again. But Bat? That's right, Regina. He's still alive, you know. I never knew. But now that Acro's been caught... Uh-huh. I know. What? I'll do it. I'll stay next to Bat as long as it takes. Until he opens his eyes. And then until he can beat Acro again. That's so sweet of you, Regina. I'm so sorry, Acro. I'm sorry, Bat. Well, hopefully, this is enough to give her a little peace of mind. Hey, Max. What is it, Mo? We really put you through a lot, didn't we, buddy? I'm sorry about what happened to you. So, whenever you'd like to leave us, I'll pay your fee and rip the contract. I understand. What a fabulous thing to do for me. I might even leave tomorrow. Shit. What's going to happen to the circus now? That's the big question. Our ringmaster was really an amazing person, wasn't he? Shit-ass? Even though he's not here anymore, everyone is sticking together. The staff, the performers, no one wants to leave the circus. That's why I've made a decision. You're gonna be the ringmaster.
What's that?
I've decided I will take over as the new ringmaster. I'll turn this circus into the best circus this world has ever seen.
Shit. The best circus the world has ever seen.
Don't laugh.
That's quite the goal.
Yay! I can't wait.
Then I guess that changes things.
Huh?
There's only one thing the best circus the world has ever seen needs. The world's best illusions. Which means this circus needs the best magician the world has ever seen.
Max?
Let's work together and make our circus super fabulous. What do you say, big guy?
I don't know what to say. All I can say is thank you.
Regina, you're gonna help them out too, aren't you?
I don't know. Maybe the circus would be better off without me. I killed a bunch of people. I didn't mean to, but I killed my dad, technically. I was unintentionally one of the reasons my dad died. And I killed a lion. And I killed my friend. And I killed like 5 other people you don't know about. I think I should lead the kids' circus.
What are you talking about, Regina? Why do you think that I brought you to the court today?
I don't know. To make me feel like shit.
We've got to work together to make the very big circus bigger than it's ever been.
Mo.
Most right, sweetie pie. It can't be the very big circus without Regina Barry.
Max.
Nick! It seems like everything is going to turn out alright here. I can't wait to go see the best circus the world has ever seen. Well, save your money. Well, save you the most fabulous... I really thought he was going to say, well, save your money, asshole, because it's not cheap and I'm not paying you. Fuck you. And he just walks out of the courtroom. Well, save you the most fabulous seats.
It'll take us a while to get ready, but I'm going to order special whoopee cushion seats.
You gotta get over the clown thing, Mal. You're a circus tamer now. You tamed the circus. I see. What made the case?
Yesterday's surprise raid. It really paid off, just like you said, sir. You had it all figured out, didn't you?
It was just a theory. If Acro really was the killer, I thought this was the only way it could end. Especially if he was the defense attorney.
You mean Mr. Wright?
Of course. Well, Detective, my plane is about to leave. As for Acro, I'm not worried. I plan to personally stop by the Chief Prosecutor's office as soon as I get back.
Understood, sir.
I'll be waiting for you.
I'll be waiting for you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, shit. We got it wrong. Brand new episode has been added. Farewell, my turnabout. Save your progress? Oh, yeah. Well, with that, ladies and gents, I think it's time to end this episode. Edgeworth is back, baby! And we're going to deal with that in the next episode. Thank you, everybody, for being in my jury, especially to the new subscribers tonight. I think we got 2 new ones, and that's absolutely awesome. I hope you enjoy the rest of the content on this channel. We got stuff with Jon Bailey from Honest Trailers, you know, the EpicVoiceGuy. We've got funny DandD things around Christmas time. We got plenty on here in terms of gaming. So, with that, ladies and gents, have a good night, and thank you for watching.
Bye.